Hey guys, Amber Gray, founder and CEO of Trusty Oak Virtual Assistant Services. Today I want to talk a little bit about vacation. As entrepreneurs, it's really tough to even think about vacation. A lot of times, especially if you have a growing, thriving business, you can hardly imagine what it would be like to take a vacation where you are not working. There's so many people, business owners especially, that are working on vacation, and I managed to just finish up a wonderful trip to Croatia for a week, and I was 98% offline. Not quite to that 100% mark, but that is definitely the goal. And thought it would be helpful for me to just share a little bit of how I was able to almost completely unplug during my vacation, give myself the downtime that I needed, and trust that my business was running smoothly without me being involved in the day-to-day. So I just want to share a few tips on how we've done that. Maybe this is something that would help you prepare for your next vacation. All right, number one, automate as many internal operations as you possibly can. That is really the key thing, and this is something that you're going to start doing in preparation probably months before you actually take a vacation, and this is something that will work for you. It does take time to get some systems in place, but I recommend that you take a look at your operations, see what you can do to get information to the right people at the right time and bypass people that don't need that information. The fewer people you can disrupt in a day-to-day with a notification, the better. So there are a few tools that I use to automate some of the day-to-day operations for us. Receiving payments is something that activates some manual task internally. So instead of having it come just to my inbox, I created a Zap using Zapier, Zapier.com, to connect PayPal with Slack. So now when a payment is received, it sends a notification to a Slack channel where my executive assistant can see the payment coming in and take the necessary steps to process that payment. It only takes about 10 minutes. I don't have to be the one clogging up the process when I am in the office, and especially when I'm out. It's something that has to be done in real time and can easily be done with this little workaround using Zapier. On the business development front, people that may be reaching out to me, inquiring about our services, that need a phone call with me, the easiest way to handle that is one, use a scheduling tool. I use HubSpot meetings, and on our website, it's easy for someone to book on my calendar. Obviously, being on vacation and trying to go 100% offline, I've got my calendar blocked off for that particular week that I'm going to be gone. In a best case scenario, I would have someone else able to cover for me on the sales front, but right now I am the only salesperson. So we just took a week off from taking in new business without, at least in terms of calls. So while I was away, someone still could come to our website, book a call with me, get on my calendar for the next week, so that they don't have to necessarily interact with me to get on my calendar. The other thing about that is that if they did email me, let's say they were a referral and they were introduced to me by email, another member of my team, my executive assistant, virtual assistant, would be able to receive that email and then use my link to respond to that to get them on my calendar in the same way. So all of our new clients are also important to us, and there are several touch points that come through from me in the workflow. I call it a workflow for that process, and actually the tool that I use is HubSpot's workflows to set up a series of automated emails that guide them through the process of getting started with your VA. This sends the client an email guiding them through, but also sends a task assignment to the virtual assistant that's working with that client. So it's all automated. It does require a little bit of manual work in certain phases of the work. At least in some of the emails that we send out do need to be more customized. It's not just here's your tip for the day or your assignment for the day. It's more of something that we have to prepare and do a personal check-in. So I would need to do those either before or after my vacation, but everything else is automated through HubSpot workflows. So our clients are getting a touch point from me even when I'm outside the office. I do have a Google Voice account that I have set up to forward transcripts to my email. It also allows the voicemail to be played back, and I use my Google Voice notifications to my email so that I can delegate handling those messages to my virtual assistant. And I'll talk more about email later, but those Google Voice messages always go to my email, so that's something that I can delegate easily. All right, so the second tip is to use a virtual assistant to manage your inbox. This is the kind of the dream, I think, to have someone else checking your email. If you're like me, you get a ton of email every day. And also, if you're like me, you like inbox zero. Definitely a hard thing to achieve, but I do like to file my emails. Not everyone's that way, but I like getting them out of the inbox. If they're still in the inbox, that means I need to do something. So I really like seeing those move away from the inbox. So when I'm working with a virtual assistant, there are several ways that I can prepare for delegating my inbox and also just generally know that everything is getting taken care of. Private matters are being filed away without the virtual assistant having to review and take care of those tasks. So I want to break down what I do in terms of delegating my inbox management to a virtual assistant. The biggest thing, if you are using Gmail, I use Delegated Inbox. It's a really cool feature of Google that allows you to delegate another email address to manage your inbox. So you can give someone else access to your email without giving them your specific Google logins. In a lot of cases, your Google logins may be access to your app, Google Pay and things like that. So you don't really want to give away those logins necessarily, but you can easily delegate the inbox through this feature of Google. The other thing on filters, so you want to set up filters so that private messages, maybe it's personal finance or something else that's coming through your email. Maybe your sweetie is emailing you at work and you want to make sure that your virtual assistant isn't necessarily looking at those emails. You can set up filters in Gmail to have certain emails that meet a specific criteria go ahead and filter into a folder or a label in Gmail. I think other email clients also have this type of feature to automatically filter emails, so I recommend doing that for emails that do not need your virtual assistant's attention or that want to be kept private. The other great thing about the delegated inbox and allowing someone else to check in, you can create settings that mark the email as unread, even though your VA has opened it. So that gives you a chance to go back through when you do want to read and know what you've read and what you haven't versus what your assistant may have opened. Next, at least a week before you leave, I recommend using Loom video screen recording app to record a narration of what you want your VA to do with certain types of emails. It's great to just at the beginning of a day, go through your inbox and show the VA how you like different things to be handled. Use a stars feature, just have your VA star something that needs your personal attention, and otherwise they can either file emails for you or just leave them in the inbox. As I mentioned earlier, if you do use a calendar scheduling tool, your VA can respond to inquiries, offering up your calendar so that they can get booked for when you return. The same thing with Google Voice. If someone does call, leaves a message, or even just a missed call notifying the number, your assistant can pick up the phone and call them back because they'll get the notification to your inbox. Now, the summary on this one is, if you must check email once a day, ask your VA to write one daily summary of everything that's in your inbox. Maybe they use Loom too to just talk you through what's going to be happening in your email, letting you know what needs your personal attention. Most of the time, believe it or not, they've handled everything that is time sensitive and everything else is going to be there when you get back. All right, so number 3, this one is a little bit tougher, but I encourage you to empower your team with the resources to make decisions on your behalf. This isn't easy because it does take time. It's not something you're going to be able to do, the week before you leave. You're going to need to build trust with your team on an ongoing basis and slowly delegate small things so that you can see how they take responsibility of smaller things and then slowly start delegating more tasks. Also, take the time to document your processes in video when you can. Again, Loom is the easiest way to do this. You just record your screen, narrate what you're doing as you're working through things. The more you can document as you go, the easier it's going to be when you're ready to delegate. And then one other tip is to include some of your key team members in various calls, CC them on emails, things like that. Even if it's more of an FYI, need to know kind of basis, I recommend getting them in the loop on some of the things you're doing so they can witness how you are handling different situations and making decisions. Again, this is something that's going to happen over time, and you're going to really want to build trust with your assistant just as you go in different scenarios. But this is a great way for them to see how you even write an email and respond to certain challenging questions, or how you handle things on a phone call, for example. So when you're away, they're going to emulate what you've done if they're a great employee, and they're going to refer back to some of the things that you may have provided to them in the past. If it's an email they were CC'd on, they're in a similar situation, they're likely to refer back to, hey, there's this email where I can look at, see how Amber responded to this. So I do recommend looping in some of your top players into your processes, even if they don't necessarily need to do something. Just start letting them witness how you're dealing with things so that when you're away, they can take care of it for you. Okay, the very last point here is you've got to resist the urge to get involved. If you are checking email once a day, you're popping in to see how things are going, it's very likely there's going to be a fire. If you're out for a week, there's going to be something challenging come up most likely. So if you're looking into your email and you see something, oh my goodness, something's going on with this client, something's not right, you're going to want to get involved, but please resist the urge and try to stay out of it. Give your team the chance to resolve the problem. If they feel like they can't handle it, they're going to ask for help. Wait for them to ask. If they need you, you'll be there. That's fine. But it's really a beautiful thing if you do stay out of it and you step back and see they can actually handle the problem without you. The more you're able to do this, the more they're going to be able to do it on their own when you're out. The biggest thing about all of this is that you really don't want to cheat yourself out of your well-deserved rest time. You don't want to cheat your family out of that time if you're splitting your attention. There's so many times that even on a day-to-day basis, probably when you're not on vacation, that you're thinking about work, when you're talking to your significant other, your kids, or something like that. It's really hard to unwind. And so it's important, especially on vacation, to take the time to really step away from your business. For me also, I actually get a lot of creativity from my business and operations when I do step away from the actual work on vacation, sometimes even when I'm not trying to, or maybe I'm on the flight listening to an audiobook heading out to wherever I'm going. It gives me a chance to really reflect on the business a little bit more, and I definitely come back from a vacation feeling a lot more recharged. So I hope these tips help you enjoy your next vacation. If you have some other ones to add to the mix, I'd love to hear from you. This is definitely a work in progress for me, and I'm working on being able to be away and completely unplug, maybe even leave my computer at home. Can you imagine? It'd be great. If you like content like this, I encourage you to visit trustyoak.com. Head to the subscribe page. You will also get a free guide to how to hire a virtual assistant. It includes interview questions and a lot of other information about how to choose the right VA for you. But aside from that, every month we send out newsletter content that includes videos like this one and other blog posts written by myself and my team. Oh, and one last thing. I'm not saying when you come back that everything is going to be just sunshine and roses and an empty inbox. It may be pretty close to that, but you are still going to be pretty busy that first week back. But at least you'll have taken a vacation, you'll be rested, recharged, and ready to take it on. And again, you're going to have better creativity and vision for your business if you get the rest you need. So start planning that next vacation.